Let's review it. The OnePlus 70 Pro is the flagship phone that OnePlus is selling right now. Well, based on rumors, we should be getting the OnePlus 8 Pro soon, but as of now, this is the best phone that you can buy from OnePlus, and the big question is whether it's still worth buying in 2020. And I feel even as of now, if you want one of the best Android phones, this should be the top in your list. And there are reasons for that, and the main thing is the price and the spec you're getting, and also how well all this transforms in real-world usage. Now, to get things clear, the pricing of the OnePlus 70 Pro when this video was uploaded is 53,999 Indian rupees, which is actually pretty expensive and is competing against the Samsung Galaxy S10, or maybe if you get a cashback offer, even with the iPhone 11. But here, one thing that's straight away evident is that, on comparison with any phone in this price range, or even above that, the OnePlus 70 Pro has the best top-notch specs. For the processor, you get the Snapdragon 855 Plus with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, which is more than enough. And then there is a triple camera setup on the rear of the phone, and for the selfie camera, it's a pop-up camera. And because of that, the front is almost just a display. And here, this display is the best one I have ever seen in any smartphone. It's a 6.67-inch QHD Plus AMOLED display with 90Hz refresh rate. Well, I know this display was there in the OnePlus 7 Pro, and this phone has been in the market for more than 3 months, but for me, this is the first time I'm using a 90Hz display in a mobile phone, and yes, I did notice the difference. It's mainly because I was used to all these 60Hz displays, and this one is like so smooth and everything just feels more fluid. And I feel the name that OnePlus has given for this display, which is Fluid AMOLED, does suit well. So even as of now, there is no competition from any manufacturer for this phone just based on display. And given the fact that it's a pretty huge display with punchy colors, and also that combined with dual stereo speakers, which sounds really good, does make this phone a great one for media consumption or playing games, etc. But please do note one thing, there is no headphone jack in the 70 Pro, and for me, it's not a big deal because I feel this is going to be the case with all the high-end phones. Now, even though it's a beautiful and great display, it's not 100% perfect. And that's mainly because you might have noticed that the sides are curved, and therefore you might face occasional annoying accidental touches. And also for the brightness, even though everything is easily readable while using it outdoors on a bright sunny day, my instinct was to check the brightness level because I thought the display could get more brighter. But that said, other than these two minor things, I feel I'll any day pick the OnePlus 70 Pro over any phone if it's just based on display. And on top of that, this phone is not a slouch even in the performance side. Snapdragon 855 Plus is one of the best processors available as of now, and therefore I didn't notice any performance issues for day-to-day tasks or even while gaming or anything that I usually do. And here with the 8GB RAM available, I never thought of the amount of apps that's open in the background, and also given the fact that the storage, which is pretty large, is UFS 3, makes things more fast. So basically it's all of this that work together to provide a very smooth user experience. My primary phone has usually been an iPhone, and most of the Android phones I've used so far have shown slight lag at times, but here with the OnePlus 70 Pro, that lag wasn't noticeable. And because of that, I was encouraged to push forward with more intense tasks, and here this phone again, if you compare it based on performance, is still one of the best. So two very important things, which is display and secondly performance, is still top notch for the OnePlus 70 Pro. And the next thing is, which you might have already noticed, is about the design, and here this is a premium phone made from premium materials. So you get a rear glass and front glass, which are both Gorilla Glass 5, and the side is metal frame, which is aluminium. The device has some heft, and also it feels very solid with no bend or flex, and since you get curves on the rear and front, it gives a nice feel while holding the phone. The rear glass does attract fingerprints, and also because of this curved design, this phone is a bit slippery, but if in case you're wondering, you can install a glass finger on the display, and I did install one, and even with that, the optical fingerprint scanner under the display does work without any issues. This fingerprint scanner is pretty fast and also is very accurate. And here, even for the buttons available, they are all very tactile, and I do like the fact that the slider which is here for setting the phone in vibrate, ring or silent mode is a neat add-on which is not seen in any Android phones. So overall for the design, OnePlus has done a great job. This color, which is called haze blue, has this gradient finish, and the shiny painted side frame does blend well, and even though there are unsymmetrical antenna cutouts, it doesn't spoil the design. And given the fact that the phone, even though being a slim phone, since it's built really well, it's very sturdy, and this design even now does hold well and looks nice with a proper center rear camera array, which like majority of the phones nowadays does protrude out, and therefore it does rock on a table. But still the lens isn't scratched, and actually to an extent same is the case with the side rails and also even the rear glass. And hence the design and build is still industry leading and is in line with most of the flagship phones available now. So all the things we have checked so far are still pretty great, and these does make the OnePlus 70 Pro a true champ for the price. But there is one main factor which is the place where some of the phones do fall hard, and that's the cameras. And here for the camera specs, the rear section has 3 cameras where the main sensor is a 48 megapixel one with an aperture of f1.6 and then there is a 8 megapixel telephoto lens with f2.4 aperture, and finally my favorite lens, which is the ultra wide angle one, is a 16 megapixel one with an aperture of f2.2. Now these specs as usual is promising, and for the photos captured, well, here to an extent it's pretty good, and especially from the main sensor the shots are crisp and detailed, and also the shutter speed while using the main camera is pretty fast. But from the ultra wide angle camera, the story is a bit different. You can capture not so bad ultra wide angle shots, and that's it. It's just like you have the option, but mostly it's better to use the main sensor. And here macro shot capture is also available, and about that, you can capture pretty neat macro shots even though the portraits are just fine. And about videos, you get the ability to record 4K at 60 FPS, but again, video recording I would say at best is just good. It's not anything that's spectacular, but if you have steady hands, you can capture high-res videos with good detailing. And now for the front camera, which is in this neat pop-up mechanism, which by the way is holding up well, is a 16 megapixel camera with an aperture of f2.0. I like the selfie camera because here the selfies are on par with some of its competitors. There is good detailing, and even if your shots is indoors, the shots are not soft but still looks pretty neat. And for the videos, well, they are also very crisp, but the max resolution supported is just 1080p at 30 FPS, and here more than the video, the audio is captured with great quality. This video is recorded with the front camera of the OnePlus 70 Pro, so you get the idea about the video quality as well as the audio quality. So overall for the cameras, well, as of now they're not the best, but still not the worst too. And it's somewhere in the middle where you can take pretty good shots. Now here this phone does offer more great stuff like the really fast charging with which you can charge more than 50% of the battery in less than 30 minutes. And that's great because here the battery life is just fine. And that's mainly because of this power hungry display, and here I did use it with 90Hz refresh rate, and hence that did affect the battery, and therefore for me, I usually hit below the 10% battery mark at the end of the day. And also one thing which was not a major miss out for me is that the phone doesn't have wireless charging, but I never use it, and therefore like I said, for me it's not a problem. Then also about the haptic vibration of the phone, it's pretty good, and it did give me a sense of how the haptic vibration is with the iPhones. Then about the earpiece, it's good, and hence calls do sound fine. And here the last thing to note about this phone which again impressed me is the software. It's called OxygenOS, which is based on Android 10, and this is pretty stock Android with just the right amount of additional features which makes the experience better. So I guess that's all about the OnePlus 70 Pro. And from all this, well, this phone is still a great one with the best display, great speakers, top-notch performance, good cameras, best user experience, great design and build, which you should be a bit careful with, and there is also the awesome fast charging with moderately good battery life. And for the price tag, the package that OnePlus has offered with the 70 Pro is still a great one. And therefore, even if you buy one now, you will be more than happy. But one thing I would suggest is that if you are willing to wait, the OnePlus 8 Pro might be launching soon, and after using this, I'm actually hyped for that. That's all for this video guys. Hope you liked it. If so, please do hit the like button, and also please do subscribe. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.